everyone, I'm Denise.
And I'm Georgie.
And we also call ourselves the Happy Vegan Couple. Well, of course, we have another wonderful recipe to share with you today that we're going to make in our Instant Pot. This is a pasta recipe with wonderful veggies, very flavorful. We've shared it with all kinds of people and omnivores, plant-based people. We've demoed it in our classes, and we're so happy to share it with you today. So we're going to get going with this. First thing Georgie's going to do is get the Instant Pot saute button going, right? You want to press that because we're going to saute something in a few minutes.
Take the lid off first. And I'll push saute, if I can find it.
And then I'm going to change our camera view here. That's going to take a minute for me to do that. And then we're going to show you with a close-up all the ingredients that we're going to be looking at. So let's see if we can get a close-up. Okay, here we go. So this dish has 1 large red onion chopped, 3 cloves of minced garlic, 2 cups of cremini mushrooms sliced, 1 red bell pepper chopped, 1 carrot chopped into rounds, 1 tablespoon of Italian seasoning, 3 cups of low sodium veggie broth,
which is better than bouillon. That's what we use.
We're going to have 1 small eggplant, unpeeled and chopped, about 2 cups, and Georgie's going to chop that in a little bit. We're going to have a can of diced tomatoes, 4 tablespoons of tomato paste, 3 sun-dried tomatoes chopped, which we'll do in a few moments, a 1/4 cup of kalamata olives pitted, 2 tablespoons of Grand Reserve balsamic vinegar, 1 teaspoon of paprika, 4 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, 1 teaspoon salt and black pepper to taste, 2 cups of whole wheat pasta. We'll show you the brand in a little bit. 2 cups of fresh spinach. We always love to have our greens. 1/2 can of cannellini beans, which we've rinsed to remove the salt. And we're going to have a cup of chopped broccoli, which we're going to steam and add to the dish towards the end. So there we go. And I'm going to now change the view again, get us back to our wide shot. Just give me a moment here. Let me try to find that. I think it's replace pin here right there. All right, here we go. So the first thing we're going to do is Georgie's actually he's got the saute going on the Instant Pot. Georgie, do you just want to take the lid off and kind of show the camera, just to remind people about the lid, the different parts?
So this is our venting valve that's on top. This one just pops on. There's no turning it. It actually has a release button on this side, which makes it a lot safer than the older models. The older models, you actually had to turn this, but now you can just push the button and back away. Inside, we have our silicone ring. And I don't know if you can see it, but there is a metal ring that goes around. These are where it's attached to the lid. You take your silicone lid or silicone seal and just start pushing it down inside that metal ring that I was saying just a second ago will be inside, and you won't see any of it. Then you have your venting cap on the inside, which is this little gizmo here. You take that off every time you use it to wash it. And if you need to, just take a knife or something at the bottom. We've used ours so much I can actually put it with my fingers. So, so that's the lid. Make sure that those are all on, especially the seal. If you don't have the seal on, it's going to boil over and it'll destroy your machine.
All right, so what we're going to do to get started is Georgie is going to add our red onion and our garlic with just a tiny bit of veggie broth to start that saute. And we saute it for about 3 minutes or so, and then we're going to throw in some other veggies.
Just put a little bit of veggie, maybe a couple tablespoons.
Ah, you can hear that because the pot was getting hot.
Onions first.
We'll show you what it looks like in just a little bit.
Garlic. Actually, I'm going to stir this up a little bit. And then throw the garlic on top. Okay. Then it around.
And then while that's going on, he thought he would go ahead and cut our little sun-dried tomatoes. Now, we don't buy any ones that are in oil. This is just sun-dried tomatoes, some salt, citric acid, ascorbic acid, So again, we don't want those extra calories from the oil, so this is what we use. And so you're gonna just go ahead and chop that. We're gonna stay on the wide chop for just a minute more until we get ready to put everything else in the pot. The next set of instructions.
Just small little pieces, what you want. See if you could see those. About the size of a pea or bigger is what you want.
Actually move the eggplant for a moment and then maybe you can see a little better.
And because they're dried, they are very tough to cut.
Now, we're not going to add these in yet.
No.
We're just chopping these, but we're going to put some other ingredients in and I'll go ahead and stir this while he's cutting that, just as the saute is going on. And you notice we're not putting any oil in the pot. We don't need to do that. You know, it's fine just to saute this with just a little bit of veggie broth. And it's not sticking.
Okay. Oh, there's our chopped up tomatoes.
All right. You think that's good too?
No, let it sit.
You want to wait for just a moment before?
Yeah,
so what we're
a minute
gonna
or so.
What we're gonna put in next, we can just kind of get it ready. We're gonna put in our mushrooms and our red pepper, our carrot, and our Italian seasoning. So that's the next thing we're gonna add in, and then we're gonna let that cook for like 8 minutes again on the saute. And then Georgie will cut the eggplant after we get that in. So when you think you're ready, I'm going to go on the close-up again, just so we can show what it looks like in the Instant Pot before you put these in. Are we getting ready to do
Pretty
that?
close, but give me a second or so.
Okay. So the brand of pasta that we use to buy this spiral pasta whole wheat at Trader Joe's, but they stopped carrying it in the spiral. I really love spirals. That's what I like. So we found this brand Dalalo, and it's all whole wheat, 100% whole grain. And in a little bit, I'm going to just share with you why it's so much worth it to get the whole wheat than like the typical conventional pasta. I'll share that with you in a few minutes.
And they sell spaghetti, linguine, capellini, and quite a few whole wheat products. And then we use them all for that brand now. So. Okay.
All right, so
we can come on.
All right, so I'm going to get on the close up again, and then we'll just show you what that looks like before we put in the other veggies, and just so you can kind of really see what it looks like. Okay, so let me come over to the Instant Pot.
Okay, I did add a little bit more vegetable broth because it was sticking. Now, because I added the vegetable broth, all of that glazing of the stuff that was on the bottom is gone. So the next thing we're going to do is our mushrooms.
All the things on the cutting board, George.
Bell peppers, carrots, and the Italian seasoning. I'm going to go ahead and stir that up a little bit. We're going to saute this for about 8 minutes.
Let's go ahead. I'm going to actually, well, you go ahead and set the timer. Okay. So we'll have it set, so our 8 minutes.
That's what it looks like.
So that's what we got this. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to show you how Georgie's going to cut the eggplant. Notice that, you know, we didn't do any, sometimes with eggplant, you know, they tell you, cut it. Well, Georgie, let me, thank you. They tell you to, you know, cut it, put salt on it to kind of get juices out and all that kind of stuff. We don't do any of that for this dish. We just cut it up and throw it in. And actually, that's a measuring cup for liquid. We really should be using the dry cup for eggplant.
I think it's dirty one.
Okay.
Wait, let me see. Oh, we can use this. Now we're going to go with 2 cups. Well, this is a pretty big eggplant. I'll probably only use about half of it. I'll just cut it in half, and I'm going to save this part and not cut this off because it's going to keep it a little bit fresher in the refrigerator for a couple of days.
So basically, I think we want 2 cups of this is what we're talking about.
Right. And just one thing I told Denise one time, we have these kind of measuring cups too.
But that's really what we should be using, actually, not even, this I think is still a liquid one, Georgie,
Okay.
that you brought out.
Okay,
So let's just use the dry, and
okay,
you always use a little extra.
okay, what I wanna show you is if you set the thing in there, you've already got half of a, or 1 cup, turn it over again, and you've got the other cup. So that's how I measure things. So we're gonna go ahead and just slice these, and then cube them. About 1/2 inch. Half-inch thick. You've got some stacks here.
And of course, we leave the skin on because there's wonderful fiber. We like to eat skin whenever we can. There's a few things that we don't enjoy it with. Like I have to admit, I'll buy an organic cucumber, but a lot of times that skin is just too tough for me. And I don't enjoy eating it, but we always keep our skin on our potatoes and our carrots. We don't ever peel that. We buy organic so that, you know, we're not getting the poison. And Georgie's just giving that a stir. And of course, we're not putting the eggplant in. We're just leaving it out right now.
There's 1 cup.
Uh-huh.
And the other cup, so I was wrong.
Well, we
So
can
there's
always
2
put in
cups.
a little extra. There's
Yeah.
no reason we
Yeah,
can't put
it's
that
just,
extra in.
another 1/2 cup.
Yeah.
And I will
Okay.
save the rest of this for.
And I'm just gonna show what this is looking like again while it's cooking.
As you can see, the mushrooms are already cooking down.
But we're gonna still
Onions.
wait before we put in some of the other vegetables.
Yeah, another 5 more minutes and we'll be doing that.
Right. So I'm gonna actually go back to, grab the camera, honey, and I'm gonna go back to the wide shot and just talk for a moment while that is going. So again, guys, just give me a moment here to change my view.
There's our eggplant.
All right, my mouse always doesn't work that smoothly here, and I want to replace my. There we go. All right, so while it's cooking, I wanted to tell you a little bit more about why it's so wonderful for your body to be eating whole grains rather than conventional grains, right? And you know, by conventional, I mean the typical pasta you buy in the store, semolina pasta. Or maybe some of you are like gluten-free, you feel you can't eat any gluten because of some issues, and maybe you buy a gluten-free pasta. So I actually looked up today, I want to share with you the difference in nutrients of certain kinds of pastas and show you why it's worth eating this as long as your body can digest it. And the real reason is, the reason we always go for the whole grains is because you get more fiber. Almost always, well, you do get more fiber with whole grains because it hasn't been processed as much. Every time they process these foods, you lose fiber, you lose nutrients. So not even only the fiber is more in the whole wheat pasta, even the protein is a little bit more. So here's the example. So again, for this whole wheat pasta, 100% whole grain, that's what it has to say. It has to say whole wheat. If it doesn't say the word whole, then it's not a whole grain. And this, of course, we bought an organic one. So this actually has 4 grams of fiber per serving, 7 grams of protein. 4 grams fiber, 7 grams of protein. Now, if we bought the same brand, but in just regular semolina pasta, one that's been processed a little bit from the whole wheat, guess what you lose? You lose 2 grams of fiber per serving, because in the semolina one, there's only 2 grams of fiber, where in this one there was 4. And you have 1 less gram of protein in the semolina, where you have an extra gram of protein in the whole wheat. So right there, right? Why wouldn't you give your body the better nutrition? You know, go out and buy that whole grain, you know, and it'll be enjoyable. Now, if you were going to compare that to gluten-free pasta, again, only in the serving sizes are all the same. So I'm comparing, you know, that. So with gluten-free pasta, like if you want like a brown rice pasta, that was just 2 grams of fiber, 4 grams of protein. Again, compared to this, 4 fiber, 7 protein.
Almost
Okay,
double.
right. So gluten-free, only 2 grams of fiber, 4 protein, right? So you're losing it. Now, one thing that is actually really good, if you enjoy it, is to buy some of these pastas now that are made out of legumes. So there's a pasta that I saw that was a chickpea pasta. So it had the flour of the chickpea plus a little bit of powder, flour powder from lentils. And that pasta really was very healthy for you in terms of the fiber, and then also giving you an extra protein boost if you like that. So that chickpea pasta actually had 13 grams of pasta, again, because legumes, right? They're one of our best plant-based sources for protein. And then that had 6 grams of fiber. So the chickpea pasta was actually even more nutritious than the whole wheat. So, you know, that would be a wonderful other substitution if you enjoy it, you know, this as much as this. You know, I'm going to have to try that. We haven't actually tried the chickpea pasta yet with the lentil powder. So now I do think it might be a little bit more money. So that could be, you know, an issue for some people. But anyways, this is what we typically go with, you know, and we love eating this whole wheat pasta. Again, 100% whole grain.
And I scored one time, they were having it on a clearance sale. And I think I got 8 of those for 99 cents each. It was like, wow, and they've got a very long expiration date, so why not? When you see those sales, buy them.
All right, so what's going to happen in a minute, I'll show you a picture of this before we throw in the rest, but we're going to be throwing in almost everything else in a moment. We're going to leave out our cannellini beans, our spinach, and our broccoli. These 3 things are going to be left out. But we're going to be putting in everything else, and we're going to be cooking this for 8 minutes in high pressure. Again, so what that means is first the Instant Pot has to get up to pressure. That takes a little bit of time, and then it starts cooking down for 8 minutes. And after the 8 minutes, we're going to do what we call a manual release, let all the pressure out, and then we'll open it up. And at that point, we can throw in our cannellini and spinach. And we steam our broccoli, and then we kind of add that to our dish as well. We can put it in here at the end, or just put it in your plate, however way you like it. So are we?
I'm ready.
Okay, so I'm going to get onto this camera again so we can show you. Okay, all righty. So let me change the view again, and so we can show all that. All right, and then we get over to here. With a close up. All righty, so I'm going to take the camera here, show you what it looks like as we've been cooking it.
You can
the
see
first part.
all the onions and everything.
Let's see, I'm not getting a good picture. Where's my camera? Oh, there. Sorry, everybody. Couldn't find my camera. All right. So that's what it looks like. And now we're going to start adding more.
I'm going to go ahead and put the vegetable broth in first so it starts getting hot.
Okay.
And I did put it in the microwave for a minute, so then it won't take as long to get heated up. If you put things cold in there, it's going to take a little bit longer. So let's go ahead and put our eggplant in. Our diced tomatoes. Our sun-dried tomatoes. Our tomato paste.
And I think, did you want to stir that around now?
I'll go ahead.
To get that tomato paste kind of dissolved through the dish.
Yeah, you don't want to leave it in one big lump in there.
Or clump.
Lump.
Whichever one you like.
Okay.
Oh, it looks like our camera is freezing there for a second.
Okay. My paprika, nutritional yeast, kalamata olives, my pasta, and then what was it? Half a teaspoon of salt? 1 teaspoon.
And of course, if you're reducing salt because you might have hypertension, you can certainly leave that out.
And a half a teaspoon of pepper. To taste, I'm going to go with a 1/4 teaspoon.
Yeah, Denise doesn't like a lot of pepper.
Okay. And then I have a tablespoon
of our balsamic vinegar.
Or actually 2 tablespoons. Look how thick it is.
So that gets a really good flavor, this vinegar.
I love thick vinegar like this. Okay, there's 1.
We love cooking with the Instant Pot. I mean, yeah, you spend that time getting your ingredients ready, but then, you know, look how you just put it in and let the machine do its work and don't have to really watch it. You know, like if it's on the stove, you might feel you need to do that.
Okay, we're gonna stir this up around.
Oops, one just came out.
And then what you want to do is kind of push down the pasta in the liquid so that you don't have any dry ones, even though it's going to steam. So that's about what it's going to look like.
All right, so then you want to just kind of go over to this side of you. And so we're gonna close up the machine.
The lid on. I did not cancel the saute, but that's okay. I canceled it. Now I'm gonna push pressure cook and I'm gonna do it for 8 minutes. So I'm gonna lower it to 8. Voila, it's cooking.
And I want to show you there, it says normal. I don't know, you may not be able to see that, but that's a little light for normal. And there's a little light there that says high pressure. And now you saw that he set it for 8 minutes. And now it's gonna do its thing.
Yep.
So I am going to give you that for a moment and change our view. Go back to our wide shot for just a second. Let's see. Sorry, I have to look up here. My eyes don't work so well.
Okay.
All right, so it's gonna take a little bit of time now to do that cooking. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pause and stop the recording and then come back when it's ready. So we don't have to keep you on while all this is going on.
And in the meantime, I'm gonna steam up this broccoli in a steamer on the stove.
Yeah, we have like a really nice steamer, you know, basket. And actually, we were gonna cook more just because they have it in our refrigerator. So I'll just throw this in here now, and that should be good. All righty, I just have a little thing coming up on my screen that I want to get rid of. If I can. All right.
Yeah, we actually have a steamer for the microwave, which is silicone, and we use the steamer on the stove. Either way, it works just as well. What you don't want to do is you don't want to put your broccoli in boiling water. You want to just steam it, because if you put it in boiling water, you're just going to take out all those nutrients and stuff. So.
Right, so we hope this dish is looking good to you, and you know, it's gonna maybe in another 15-20 minutes it'll be ready, because again it has to work up the pressure, then do that 8 minutes and we'll let it out, and then after that we can eat. And you know, I just want to show you another thing. We have one of the things we often put on our pasta. We made a vegan parmesan. Which and what are the ingredients in here, Georgie?
Cashews.
Raw cashews, right?
Raw cashews, garlic powder, and nutritional yeast.
And you just blend, do that in the food processor typically, right?
Yep.
Just put those ingredients in the food processor, you know, break them up, and then you get a really delicious little powder that you can put on your pasta and adds even more flavor to it.
I can actually take a spoon and eat this because it's so good.
Alrighty, so we will come back when that is ready, okay?
Okay.
Alrighty.
See you in a few.
Sounds good. Alrighty, let me stop this. Hi, okay, everybody. Our Instant Pot is beeping. It means that it's cooked. We're gonna open up the steam. I'm gonna go back on here to just show you again how we do that and what it looks like. So just let me change the view here. And I'll get over there in a second. Is that there we go. All righty, so you can see we're at 0 on the Instant Pot. We want to do a manual release, and Georgie's got a little utensil that he's going to use.
I just want to show, you need to show them the valve that I'm going to press.
So on this Instant Pot,
this is where the steam's going to come out.
oh, I just felt that.
I'm going to press this to release it. Always use a utensil. Don't put your hand down here because that can burn you.
Okay, where is it going to go? I don't want to be in the way.
And if it's spraying too much, I actually
No, you cannot use a towel. A paper towel, but Instant Pot says do not put a cloth towel. Okay, so we've got all that steam going out, you can see there, right?
No.
When that's done,
Yeah,
we're gonna again add our cannellini beans and our spinach. And we actually have our broccoli being steamed over here.
It's already done.
You can see that. All right, so we're just about ready. I'm just gonna leave it on here. So
And sometimes,
You're on this camera, honey.
sometimes the Instant Pot will throw a lot of steam. I usually take one of the half paper towels and put over the top here, just to catch that liquid. Because it can make a mess, and you don't want a mess in your kitchen there. That's one thing that people don't like is messy.
I actually won't let the steam out under our cabinet, because I'm
Right.
afraid that all that steam is gonna be in our cabinet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know, it's like, in this whole time that we've done all this, we've already washed all the dishes, everything's clean, so at the end here, it's just gonna be about us eating. you know,
Right.
so that's nice.
and,
It's almost done.
yeah, we can kind of see the steam is dissipating.
There's a little servo valve right here. Once that drops down, the steam is gone. So to help it out a little bit, get some more steam out.
You can see all our potatoes here. We eat potatoes all the time. Georgie eats them sometimes 2 times a day. So if you think you get fat from eating potatoes, look at our bodies. As long as you don't put a bunch of saturated fat and fry those potatoes with a bunch of oil, potatoes are a wonderful, healthy thing to eat, and we love those.
Okay, my valve is down. So now I'm gonna turn the lid, but I wanna keep my arm away from all the steam, so I'm gonna turn it so that the steam's going that way, my arm's safe.
And then, you know, you got these little holes here in the Instant
Right.
Pot where you can put the lid like
And that's
Georgie
what you
just
can
did.
see, this fits
Right,
perfectly
so
in
that's
there.
it. So
A
let's
lot of
see what
people
it
don't
looks
know
like.
that, so let's go ahead and stir this up. Thank you.
How's it smell?
Wonderful.
We love this dish. We just think it's good. We actually made this on vacation. We had an Airbnb with a kitchen, and we made it there. We brought our Instant Pot, and then we had, you know, a couple meals prepared for us.
Right, gonna add the spinach, 2 cups of spinach, fresh spinach, and then the cannellini beans.
Now, I also want to say, everybody, you could add more cannellini beans, and sometimes we do, because I actually love to eat my legumes, you know, with all my meals for that, you know, wonderful added protein, fiber resistant starch. And when we got this recipe, again, we didn't create this, you know, we found it and we,
Just tweaked it a little bit,
yeah, we,
put different things in it.
right, but we added the cannellini beans.
Right.
Yeah, so,
So now we're just gonna let it sit for 2 or 3 minutes and it'll be ready to serve.
and then we'll, and you could put the broccoli in here if you want, you know, get it all mixed in, or you could wait and just put it in the dish. Again, broccoli was not part of the original recipe, but I always want to eat as many greens as I can, my cruciferous vegetables, which of course broccoli is. And the other thing with the broccoli is, just to remind everybody, when Georgie cut it up, he let it sit on our counter for 45 minutes, right, Georgie?
45, maybe over an hour.
And the reason we did that is because this chemical will bloom, the sulforaphane, which is anti-cancer, anti-inflammation. Now, if you don't have time to let that sit on your counter, you can just eat some raw broccoli with it, or some other raw cruciferous, and your body will actually do what it needs to do to bloom that sulforaphane.
Right, and if you buy the broccoli that's pre-cut in the bags and stuff, it's already got that going on.
Right,
So,
the fresh one, of course,
yeah,
not
the fresh,
yeah.
not frozen.
Well, let's see, frozen. Well, frozen, yeah, it won't be frozen, because frozen they flash cook it, so they've already kind of destroyed the enzyme which is needed to make that sulforaphane.
So if you get it in the bag and it's fresh.
In the refrigerator,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that would work too.
Okay.
All right, so how's this look?
We're good here.
Look how beautiful. Let me just get a real good close up of that. Whoops. That just fogged up my camera lens. But Georgie will go ahead and plate it.
Serve some.
And then I'm just gonna go back to the white shot in a moment after you close that, rinse the rest of it. And you know, again, we have a lot left here, so it's good for several meals. We could put it in the freezer. You know, that's the other thing we love to do, is have some extra stuff in the freezer. Okay, and so, well, here's what it looks like. Before you taste it, I'm gonna go to the white shot. But you can go ahead and put the Parmesan on.
Sprinkle some Parmesan cheese around it. Top of the broccoli.
Look at that. Look at this beautiful dish. It's got
wonderful,
whole grains, which are so wonderfully healthy, shows that it reduces our risk for chronic disease. Many studies show if you eat whole grains. And then we have our, cruciferous vegetable, the broccoli in here, and then we have our other vegetables in here,
This is-
wonderful veggies, and then we have our legumes, again, for even some more added protein.
Lots of
besides what's in-
protein.
but with
This is protein dish.
Right, I know, all you people worry about protein when you go to plant-based eating, when you don't really need to worry about it, but let's see. There we go, okay. So that's it, right? And then you have a wonderful dish with, lots of wonderful now I'm gonna just cancel this because we don't need to keep it hot.
Right.
So I'm just canceling the Instant Pot. So do you want to go ahead and taste
Sure.
it before we
Sure.
sign off today? We actually might have a friend coming over and sharing some of this with us today.
And I got a little bit of everything. I can see some bell pepper, I can see some onions and mushrooms, and a little bit of pasta, the cannellini beans. Oh, gotta get some broccoli in there.
Yeah, the kalamata olives, I just love in here too, they have that little salty zing in them, and it's so much more flavorful than like those plain old olives.
What do they say? Nom nom.
Nom nom?
Delicious.
I don't know.
N-O-M.
I don't know what that is.
It's delicious.
It's delicious.
And
Yeah.
it's filling. I mean, this is a filling dish, And if you want, you can serve some cornbread on the side. One of the things are
Oh, of course, I would eat a salad because I always
Right.
want to eat, more greens, right? I want them to dilate my vessel because of the nitric oxide in the greens, and then we just know they're so healthy, right? But anyways, that's it, everybody. We hope you'll try it, and you can give us some feedback. Would love it to see it on the YouTube channel if you try it. So until we see you again, I'm Denise.
I'm Georgie.
And we call ourselves a happy vegan couple. And our aim is to make wonderfully healthy, whole food, plant-based food for all of us to eat and really reduce our risk for chronic disease or even reverse a disease you might have, because you can do that once you get your nutrition right. Not for everything, but like type 2 diabetes, stop the progression of heart disease, autoimmune diseases. Now you might be in a different kind of more strict protocol for autoimmune. Dr. Brooke Goldner's the doctor to check out for that. Anyways, we'll see you next time, everybody. We hope that you enjoyed this.
Thank you, everyone.
Until next time, see you then.
Bye.
Bye.